Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi, later known as Mahatma, meaning great soul, was born on October 2nd, 1869 in Porbandar, India. His upbringing in a devout Hindu household, particularly his mother's strong moral principles, deeply influenced his worldview.
My mother's teachings instilled in me the values of truth and non-violence, which would guide me throughout my life.
At 19, Gandhi traveled to England to study law, where he encountered vegetarianism and the works of thinkers like Leo Tolstoy and Henry David Thoreau.
The teachings of Tolstoy and Thoreau opened my mind to the power of non-violence and civil disobedience.
Upon returning to India as a qualified barrister, Gandhi initially struggled to establish his legal career. It was during this period that he received an opportunity to work in South Africa, a turning point in his life. Arriving in South Africa in 1893, Gandhi faced harsh racial discrimination.
The injustice and segregation I witnessed were a wake-up call.
This ignited Gandhi's sense of injustice and began his journey as a leader. The turning point came when Gandhi was thrown off a train in Pietermaritzburg.
That incident made me resolve to fight for Indian rights.
In 1906, Gandhi led his first Satyagraha campaign, meaning Truth Force. Gandhi mobilized the Indian community to resist unjust laws non-violently. His commitment to non-violence earned him respect in South Africa and India. Gandhi returned to India in 1915, eagerly awaited by many who had heard of his courageous work in South Africa. India, under British rule, yearned for a leader to unite its diverse population towards self-governance.
My experiences in South Africa have prepared me for the challenges ahead in our struggle for independence.
Gandhi, with his message of Satyagraha, was seen as that leader. Gandhi traveled extensively across India, connecting with people from all walks of life. Swaraj, or self-rule, is our birthright, and we must strive for it. Gandhi's message resonated deeply with the Indian people. Central to Gandhi's philosophy and his approach to political action was Satyagraha.
True power does not lie in physical force, but in the moral strength that comes from adhering to truth and love, even in the face of oppression.
Satyagraha, as envisioned by Gandhi, was a weapon of the strong, not the weak. It demanded immense courage, discipline, and a willingness to endure suffering without resorting to violence.
By refusing to cooperate with unjust laws and by enduring the consequences peacefully, we force the oppressor to acknowledge the injustice and change their ways.
The principles of Satyagraha resonated deeply with the Indian people. Gandhi meticulously trained his followers in the art of non-violent resistance. He emphasized the importance of self-discipline, non-retaliation, and a willingness to accept the consequences of their actions, including imprisonment. Satyagraha, under Gandhi's leadership, became a powerful tool to challenge the might of the British Empire. In 1930, Gandhi launched the Salt Satyagraha, a pivotal moment in India's struggle for independence.
The British government's salt tax, which prohibited Indians from collecting or selling salt, a staple in their diet, became a focal point of our resistance.
Gandhi embarked on a 240-mile march from his ashram in Ahmedabad to the coastal village of Dandi, where he and his followers broke the salt law by making salt from seawater.
This act of defiance captured the world's attention. The Salt March was a masterstroke of nonviolent protest.
The salt tax symbolized the British government's control over essential resources, and Gandhi's act of defiance ignited a nationwide movement.
The Salt Satyagraha galvanized the Indian population. Thousands joined the movement, defying the salt tax and facing imprisonment.
The British government responded with repression, but Gandhi's non-violent movement had struck a chord. The world watched in admiration as a nation, led by a man of peace, challenged an empire through civil disobedience. India's independence in 1947 was a bittersweet victory. The joy of freedom was overshadowed by the tragic partition into India and Pakistan.
The partition led to one of the largest mass migrations, with widespread violence. As an advocate of Hindu-Muslim unity, I was deeply saddened.
Gandhi envisioned an India where all faiths lived in harmony. The communal violence broke his heart.
Despite the turmoil, I worked to quell the violence. I traveled, fasted, and appealed for peace.
Gandhi remained committed to non-violence and compassion. His message of peace stood in stark contrast to the violence.
My efforts to heal the wounds of partition cemented my legacy as a beacon of peace. Mahatma Gandhi, the father of India, breathed his last on January 30, 1948, assassinated by a Hindu extremist.
His death plunged India and the world into mourning, but his legacy as an apostle of peace and non-violence continued to inspire generations to come. Gandhi's legacy extends far beyond the realm of politics. He was a social reformer, a spiritual leader, and a champion of the oppressed. His life and teachings have left an indelible mark on humanity, reminding us of the power of truth, love, and non-violence in overcoming injustice and creating a more just and equitable world. Gandhi's principles of satyagraha have resonated with civil rights movements and peace activists across the globe. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. and Nelson Mandela drew inspiration from Gandhi's philosophy of non-violent resistance, demonstrating the global impact of his teachings. Gandhi's life and message continue to resonate in a world grappling with conflict, violence, and injustice.
Gandhi's philosophy of non-violence, or satyagraha, was not merely a political strategy, but a way of life.
It was deeply rooted in his spiritual beliefs and his unwavering faith in the inherent goodness of humanity. Gandhi believed that true power did not lie in physical force, but in the moral strength that came from adhering to truth and love. Central to Gandhi's philosophy was the concept of ahimsa, meaning non-harming or non-violence in thought, word, and deed. Gandhi believed that violence, even in retaliation, was counterproductive and only perpetuated the cycle of hatred and suffering. He argued that true strength lay in resisting injustice through peaceful means, even if it meant enduring suffering. Gandhi's satyagraha emphasized the importance of self-suffering as a means of awakening the conscience of the oppressor.
Gandhi's influence transcended the borders of India, inspiring movements for civil rights and social justice across the globe.
Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. in the United States and Nelson Mandela in South Africa drew inspiration from Gandhi's philosophy of non-violent resistance, adapting his methods to their own contexts and struggles. Martin Luther King Jr., a pivotal figure in the American civil rights movement, openly acknowledged Gandhi's profound influence on his own approach to fighting racial segregation and discrimination. King, like Gandhi, believed in the power of love to overcome hate and saw non-violent resistance as the most potent weapon against injustice. Nelson Mandela, who led the struggle against apartheid in South Africa, also drew inspiration from Gandhi's teachings. While Mandela initially believed in armed struggle, his views evolved during his decades-long imprisonment. He came to embrace Gandhi's philosophy of non-violence, recognizing its power to unite people and bring about lasting change. Gandhi's legacy continues to inspire activists, leaders, and ordinary citizens around the world who are working to create a more just and peaceful world. Mahatma Gandhi, the man who led India to independence through the power of truth and non-violence, continues to hold a revered place in the annals of history. His life and teachings, rooted in the principles of satyagraha, continue to inspire generations seeking to build a more just, compassionate, and peaceful world. Gandhi's legacy is not confined to statues or history books. It lives on in the countless individuals and movements that continue to draw inspiration from his life and work. His unwavering belief in the power of non-violence, his commitment to social justice, and his unwavering faith in humanity remain as relevant today as they were during his lifetime. In a world often plagued by conflict, violence, and injustice, Gandhi's message of peace and reconciliation offers a beacon of hope. His teachings remind us that true strength lies not in physical might, but in the courage to resist oppression through peaceful means, to embrace dialogue over violence, and to meet hatred with love. As we navigate the complexities of the 21st century, Gandhi's life and legacy serve as a timeless reminder of the transformative power of truth, love, and non-violence.